The General Secretary of the JVP, Tilvin Silva, says that there is a possibility that a resolution against Sri Lanka at the UN Human Rights Council will be adopted.
Now, he made this statement at a rally held in Tangol today.
The JVP's Hambantota District Development Office was declared open in the Palli Kaduwa area in Tangol under the auspices of the party General Secretary Tilvin Silva. They say that Sri Lanka was known as the granary of the East back then. What is it now? It is the tavern of the East. When the political system in the country is disintegrating and crime is on the rise, the police must work to prevent crime. But the police and the Bribery Commission have disintegrated too. There are several ministers who do everything except what their position demands of them. There is a risk that a resolution on an international investigation against Sri Lanka will be adopted at the end of March at the Human Rights Council. If such a situation could arise for the country, if it is a serious matter, and if this is a truly patriotic government, then they would not hold an election at this time. India's The Hindu reports that Marumalachi Dravida Munnetra Kalaham or MDMK General Secretary Y. Gopalaswamy, alias Vaiko, has called upon the Indian central government to intervene, quote, through diplomatic channels, unquote, and stop the deportation of 46 Tamil refugees from Australia to Sri Lanka. According to The Hindu, Vaiko had made this request in a letter addressed to Prime Minister Manmohan Singh yesterday, which was released to the media today. The Hindu reports that the 46 refugees who reached Australia seeking asylum were detained 5 years ago by the Australian government.
A visiting delegation from the Parliament of the state of Victoria, Australia convened a media briefing in Colombo last evening.
Deputy Secretary of the Jathika Helorume Udaya Gammanpila was also present at the occasion.
Australia, not only my second home, very great friend of Sri Lanka. Actually, friends in need are the friends indeed. During the last several years, Australia has shown Australia is a good, true friend of Sri Lanka. When we were in trouble in international fora, Australia was always with us to protect us. Australia always expressed solidarity with us. We never forget the people, the nations who were with us when we were needy.
Yes, there are many things to do, and I'm sure they will be done. But it's incredible that in 4.5 short years, what has been done. And you just see it where we're standing, really. You have enormous investment from foreign organisations going into Sri Lanka. Foreign organisations will not invest unless their money's guaranteed, unless they're very sure of the future in the country. So they're the things I see happening.
Don't underestimate how important your diaspora is to you for your economic recovery and the role that they play as prospective ambassadors for the new and growing Sri Lanka. And reconciliation isn't easy. It'll be an ongoing process and there's more work to do. Yes, you will continue to be challenged by some in the international community, but you will show, as you have been showing, the progress that you are making. But your diaspora and those people that come and visit this country as tourists and business people who are your other ambassadors, they are your tools in the efforts that you are undertaking.
On to sports news now. The fourth day of the third and final test series between Sri Lanka and Pakistan was played out in Sharjah today. Mahalaja Wadane entered the record books once again as the first Sri Lankan to post 11,000 runs in the history of Test cricket. The Sri Lankans, who posted 428 runs for 9 wickets in their lot in their first innings, were able to restrict Pakistan to 341 runs.
Pakistan resumed play today with an overnight score of 291 runs for the loss of 6 wickets. Abdul Rahman and Misbah-ul Haq, who was already on 36, returned to the crease for the Pakistanis on day 4. Misbah-ul Haq recorded his 24th Test half-century today, posting 63 runs for the team. Asad Shafiq and Junaid Khan chipped in with 18 and 16 runs, leaving Pakistan with a total of 341. Dimut Karunaratne and Kaushal Silva opened the second innings for the Sri Lankans earlier today. Karunaratne was the first wicket to fall, having obtained only 8 runs. Sangakkara was dismissed by Rahman, posting only 8 runs. Kaushal Silva headed back to the changing room for 36 runs. Chandimal posted 18 runs for the Sri Lankans.
Not on that occasion.
And up next is Sports' first investigative journalism segment, The Bitter Truth.
On the 6th of this month, Sri Lanka Cricket announced that Asanga Sinivaratne, who was defeated at the SLC election, had been appointed to the position of Vice President of SLC, which was left vacant following the resignation of Kim Madivanan, who won the most number of votes at the SLC election. Addressing a letter to the Sports Minister challenging this appointment, SLC ex-co member Shammi De Silva charged that the election for the position of SLC Vice President was halted on the intervention of the SLC President. Shammi Silva also revealed that the President had informed the Executive Committee that the Vice President was appointed based on a request made by the Sports Minister. Although a compact disc containing the Minister's statement was tabled in Parliament by MP Arjuna Ranatunga, the results of the subsequent inquiry have not been unveiled.
එහෙම කරලා තියෙනවා නම් ඒක අතිවිශාල වැරද්දක් ක්‍රීඩා ඇමතිතුමා කරලා තියෙනවා.
If such a thing has been done, it is a major mistake on the part of the Sports Minister. In order to correct the mistake, he must conduct a proper, fair and transparent inquiry and prove to the people whether the President is correct and whether he did make such a request. If this is not done, then it clearly affirms the belief that regardless of what provisions are in the Sports Act, these people are being appointed to these positions in an opaque fashion with the blessings of the gods that be. On the 3rd of January, SLC ex-co member Shammi Silva once again addressed a letter to the Sports Minister challenging the appointment of Asanga Sinivaratne to the position of SLC Vice President. As per sports regulations, when the positions of President, Secretary or Treasurer of a national association become vacant, they must be filled after convening an extraordinary general meeting. As a result of the rejection of nominations for the post of President, what should be done is to call for nominations once again. However, the order has been violated and the President of SLC was appointed in keeping with the Constitution. However, when the position of Vice President became vacant, SLC followed a procedure that was completely contradictory. Section 12, Part 1 of the Sports Act was employed for this purpose. Considering the facts presented above, using two laws of personal benefit in an unethical and illegal manner is against both the Sports Act and the Constitution of Sri Lanka Cricket. There is a major legal issue with the appointment of Asanga. This is what was said in the Executive Committee. The President who obtained the position through fraud has said that he was told to do this by the Minister. He says that the Minister told him to appoint Asanga Sinivaratne.
මට අසංග සිනහට පත් කරන්න කියලා. ඒ කියන්නේ එකම කරුණක් සම්බන්ධව
When the Constitution of an association and the Sports Act have differing laws on the same issue, prominence should be given to the National Sports Act. In spite of the existing law, what we can see here is that the fundamentals of the law have not been applied as intended. There is a saying in the Sinhalese vernacular that when you are hungry, the water monitor and monitor lizard are the same. The similar thing has transpired here.
මේ අවස්ථාවේදී සිදුවෙලා
If two laws have been applied for the same issue, can this mistake not be rectified? Does the dilly-dallying on the part of the Sports Ministry to correct this error affirm that positions at SLC are only open to those with the blessings of the gods that be?
Meanwhile, Minister of Sports Mahinda Anandalugamage says that he has called for a report from the SLC Secretary on the appointment of the position of Vice President, which has caused this controversy.
Minister of Sports Mahinda Anandalugamage is scheduled to participate on the Inside Sports program on Sirsa TV live at 10:45 p.m. tomorrow.
And with that, we wrap up tonight's edition of Time News. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm Arundhati Mudannaika.
And I'm Shane Silva. Take care and good night.
Newsfirst at 9.
Hotline 0114-896-896. www.newsfirst.lk. Feedback at newsfirst.lk.